It looks like Peter's issues with Brock just got bigger and badder. Here's your look at the Hasbro Marvel's Spider-Man VenomVersus Deluxe Venom. Kids can imagine unleashing Venomized web-slinging adventures and battles with their favorite Spider-Man heroes and villains. This collectible Marvel Deluxe Venom action figure is part of Hasbro's exclusive Epic World of Action series and features the classic look to Venom with some terrifying snap-on wings. I guess Brock's with a feather will still flock together? That's stupid. Before, though, we look at the wings, those things that snap onto the back of his body, we're going to take as well the tape measure and see how tall the figure stands. Now, one would make, I'm sure, the assumption that this is Brock using the exact same body as the Venom we've looked at before. The head, the arms, and the legs are all the same. They've designed, though, a brand new torso piece. We're going to talk about that in a second. Back, though, to the tape measure, it's going to tell us that this Venom's going to stand taller than the Spideys. He's 4 inches in height, about 10 centimeters tall. I guess before we compare the wall crawler, let's size up the symbiotes. Yeah, here's what he looks like with the original Venom. So in this case, the heads are the same, the arms, yeah, and the lower legs. Completely different torso, and different deco too. Here's also what the figure looks like with the symbiote suits Spider-Man, and just before that, we also looked at the classic look of Spidey too. The first Venom that we looked at came with one of these things. This new Venom doesn't come with one of these things, but what he does have instead is some snap-on wings. The figure's wings, though, are the one little bit of assembly that's required when you get this figure out of his plastic prison. It actually consists of 3 parts. You get yourself a backpack piece, and this will basically just attach onto the back of his body. Take note, though, that the figure does have a peg right here. Take note as well, if you look on the back of Venom's body, he has a hole right here. If you're matching up, though, the simple shapes, now, when you are putting this on, you can choose to have either the backpack higher up, which I think looks a little more like an eyesore. It just adds unnecessary bulk on the back of his body. And the better thing instead is to actually twist this around and clip it just like that. So you can have Venom really always displayed without the wings if you want. Really nice use of this metallic blue. It's kind of a cross between purple, a little bit of blue, a whole lot of cool. Then you get yourself these wings. Now, the wings, how they work is you get these little, well, they have clamp pieces. And if you look on them, I'll just show you guys what both look like here. One doesn't say left or right, but once really that you plug this on the back of his body, you already kind of know which way they're going to go. The first time that I snapped on these wings, I just made the assumption that you wouldn't be able to take them off. Yet, though, if you clip them in place, they easily, I say easily, they do untap quite easily too. Like, it doesn't feel like the plastic's that kind where after a while this plastic will, I'm sure, break. No, it does seem like they attach and detach quite easily, even though if you hopefully line up everything. There's a little slot right here, which I'm not really sure what purpose it serves. Maybe it's just allowing a little bit of air to get in there just to help free the wings a little bit better. Anyways, though, you basically just take the wings, snap them on the back of Venom's body, just like that. Making sure, of course, it lines up. Why are we having such a hard time? There we go. Snapping on the back of his body, and now Venom has these giant wings. These wings are super cool. And the thing that's neat, though, about them is they look finished on this side, so you would think, okay, that's the way that the mold was pressed. It's going to look unfinished on the other side. No, actually, they look just as good on this side. This, by the way, would be the show side of the wings, so you'd like to hope that they would be sculpted just as well. I do like that they have like the little veins, I guess the little parts that hold the wing kind of together if he's flapping these things. But yeah, again, if at any given point, if you don't really like the look of these can just easily be detached. You leave them off altogether, really, if you want. Now, whereas the other Venom would have had at least the symbiote symbol painted on the back, this Venom doesn't have that. So, unfortunately, it does have to lose a little something in order to accommodate that wing backpack. He does have at least something sculpted on the front. Although it's not really, I'm sure, a symbol of a Spidey. It actually kind of looks more like a scorpion. Maybe like a cross between a scorpion. I see some claws there on the top. I know it's like a Rorschach. You're looking at this trying to figure out what that ink blot's supposed to look like. When I look at this, I think of like a tailless scorpion. Hey, they could have really also added a scorpion tail to go all the way. Maybe that's, now that I think about it, maybe you didn't want to have a tail going all the way down to the bottom. The coloring, though, looks fantastic on this Venom. I like that it's also different, too. They chose not just to mold this all in the same black plastic and slapped on some wings. Even though, really, the head is exactly the same, and same as well for the arms. Lower legs are exactly identical. At least they sculpted a brand new torso, and molding it in the plastic that they chose gives Venom a little bit more character. Yeah, the head sculpt's going to be exactly the same. It still has the tongue sticking out the way that it is. But the metallic purplish blue that they've used, boy, that plastic looks shiny. They've also added some additional sculpting there on the tops of his shoulders, so the original Venom would have not had that. Venom would have only had just these little sticking out symbiote strands on his shoulders, while the Venom would have had it on this one. He does also have all this new sculpting along the top. And also, if you look at the torso originally would have been smooth here. They've now added all this cool veinage on the back of his body. You can also see it on the front there as well. So there's a brand new torso piece that had to be used here for Venom. Well, again, like really all the rest of it's just the same mold. Right down, actually, if you look at the hands here for Venom, the little rectangle piece would have been sculpted. They still have them actually there. If you look at it really closely, you can make out there's the rectangle right there. The only thing that they haven't done is they haven't painted it in white. And I don't mind that they don't use, I don't expect them to use a brand new mold. If they have to bore over body parts from another Venom, that we get a Venom that looks this interesting, I don't mind. Again, like you get the same arms, and again, you get the same lower legs. The sculpting, again, looks just as good on the original Venom. If you like, though, the blue works really well on the figure, whether you want to display the figure without his wings or not. Because he is using the same body, he's using the same posability. Head's going to be on what seems to be on a ball joint, so yeah, you rotate the head all the way around. It's one of those things, too, that the way they've angled the head, I guess really isn't a ball joint, it's more of a peg joint, but the way they've angled the head, when you rotate his head, it rotates on an angle as opposed to looking back and forth. As you see it turns and it looks more up. Does that make any sense? I hope that makes some sense. As for his arms, they rotate all the way around. You can easily bring those arms out. Despite having so much stuff being occupied by the top of his torso, he still manages to pull off somewhat a successful T-pose or 90-degree angle bend. He does also have a swivel in his arm that allows an elbow bend back and forth. He loses it, unfortunately. He doesn't have anything in the wrist. He doesn't have anything in the waist. I don't really feel like he needs it either. He has a ball joint in the legs, so he can hinge those joints out. You can take the legs, move them forward, move them back. A little bit of a swivel at the top of the thigh, not by much though. However, though, you can rotate the lower legs, and there's a knee bend there too. This Venom, I'm just going to go back and look at him again. Yeah, from what I remember, he does. He has a really loose lower leg. Somehow this Venom not only has adopted the same mold, but he also adopts the same looseness in leg. It's not as loose as the other Venom, but it seems like there's a start of it. The figure does also have pegals in the bottoms of his feet too, which really do come in handy. Because the figure doesn't already have a stand dedicated to him, the moment you add wings like this on the back of his body, I want to make sure we've got it angled, we've got it facing the right way. When you plug the wings in place, that's going to clearly cause conflict with having the figure standing. It's going to make him very back heavy, so you may want to like angle his body further forward. Kind of angle it more this way so that he's not going to fall backwards. But again, if you're having issues displaying this guy, you can always really go with a display stand. I'm just grabbing a display stand here from McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse. It works the exact same way, so we just plug it onto his feet, put him on the display, and now you're not going to have any worries whatsoever this guy falling over. This guy's going to be a little bit more expensive, so this Venom set me back around $14, maybe around a little over $14. I feel like he was like $14.99. The deluxe version of Venom gets more closer into like the mid-20s. He was sitting, I think, around $24.99 or $25. That's not bad. That's not bad considering that already Brock was a big build of body to start off with. Then you incorporate the wings, so again, while he doesn't have, again, this little accessory web piece, the little web weapon that he had before, he has at least enough bulk in the plastic, I think, to justify the price that they're selling him for. Again, we'll just bring in the other Venom figures, the VenomVersus figures, Spider-Man, symbiote suit Spider-Man, and of course Venom. I don't really have enough space right now to bring in Venomsaurus Rex, but I like this line quite a lot. It's, again, a price that's affordable enough that if you're going into a store, like a Walmart, for example, and you're going in there to shop for something else, if you're one of those adult collectors, I do this myself, I'll say, I'll be right back. And I know when I'm shopping with the person, they always are thinking aloud, okay, you're off to the toy section. And sure enough, that's where I went. While they were shopping for more things that we needed around the house, I was going down the toy aisle, seeing what I could add to the cart. I ended up finding this Venom for, again, a pretty good price. He's a little bit more expensive than the basic class of VenomVersus figures, but I think if you're able to find him, he's a fun Venom to have on your shelf. Follow me along as I go further down the rabbit hole of collecting these VenomVersus figures. Seriously, is there an end in sight? Well, there are a few still figures I haven't had the chance to find, like the Armored Spider-Man or the Gwen Stacy, for example, Spider-Gwen. I don't know where those things are. Maybe they're just a lesser quantity. Maybe there's less of them per case, and they're being scooped up right away by collectors. At least that these are an affordable price that collectors and kids alike can be collecting them. About $14 to $15 per the basic figures. If you want the more elaborate looking Venom here, this will set you back more the $25 price. At least though, this Venom was readily available. Whereas there was only just a single facing of the basic figures on the pegs, there was probably about 5 or 6 of these Venoms on the shelf. I don't know if that means that nobody's really buying them. I certainly was interested enough to buy them. Yes, there is some mold being borrowed over from the original one, like the limbs more so, and the head. You get a brand new body. You get, of course, the back of the body that has to have the hole, and then you get these very large, menacing looking wings. All done in now a different metallic blue purple. It's a little bit different than the black Venom that we got before. I like that it's, again, a different color of plastic. This is at least a color that you could believe to be Venom. They didn't go crazy and stupid by choosing like a color like a red or a yellow. That doesn't work for Venom, but this purple certainly does. Whether you want to have the figure displayed with or without the wings, whether you want to even keep the backpack on, the wings can be detached easily enough. I don't know how many times you're really going to want to be able to do that, but I haven't had any problems knock on plastic where the wings seem like they're starting to develop like fracture marks or stress marks. Yeah, all in all though, even though he's going to be a little bit more expensive than the basic class Venom by like $8 more. I'm just doing the math in my head right now. Maybe about $8, $9 more. That's not bad for a Venom that looks this cool. What do you guys think of the VenomVersus Deluxe Venom that comes included with the wings? Would you see yourselves picking this one up over the basic Venom? Which one do you think is a better looking figure? Even though, again, like I know a lot of the same mold got carried over. If you guys are also interested to grab this for yourself, you should be able to find it easily enough in retail stores or online. I've so far knock on wood, we're knocking on the tabletop here. I've luckily been able to find most of these in the stores. If I do want to try to get the remaining ones of this set, like the Spider-Gwen and the Armor Spider-Man, maybe I might try to venture onto Amazon and see if they're available there. If you guys did enjoy this video, you can do it a solid and throw it a like. You guys want to stick around for more so? I hope so. This isn't, by the way, the end. No, it's not. Of VenomVersus figures. There's actually a deluxe Spider-Man that we're going to be looking at in an upcoming review. I hope you guys are going to be joining me for that. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.